I like many different genres of anime, whether it's sports anime, action, or adventure. But the theme I really enjoy watching and I find the most interesting seem to always be dark themed animes. Shows like Tokyo Ghoul, Parasite, Erased come to mind immediately. But there's one dark anime that no matter what genre you like, if you're an anime fan, you've at least heard of it, or most of the time watched it. And that anime is Death Note. Death Note follows Light Yagami as he discovers the Death Note, a notebook that can kill anyone by writing their name in it and picturing their face at the same time. Light attempts to use the Death Note to create a world devoid of crime, adopting the public persona of Kira, the god of the new world. In Death Note we see multiple characters exploring what is and isn't justice. Let's just say the word comes up a lot. The show doesn't really give us a clear stance on what constitutes justice, but rather employs a unique method to constantly challenge various definitions of justice. An element of that method happens to be in how individual characters propose their own version of justice, and the first among those is Light himself. Light's use of the notebook seems to many people to start off as a form of retributive justice, an eye for an eye. Kira would kill people only for killing another human being. Eventually Light decides that he is the new god of this world. At this point in time, Light's form of justice seems to drift to where punishment isn't dealt out to match the crime, but to make the world become a better place. Light Yagami seems to take a whole different approach to justice. He begins to kill people in a much wider spread of fashion, for a much greater purpose than just punishing the individual criminals, but because this leads to a deterrent for any future criminals. Light begins to deal death as punishment to even lesser crimes. The results are that many petty criminals or even innocent people who were wrongly convicted are killed in large numbers for the greater good in his eyes. If Light's divine justice is categorized as a deterrent for the greater good, killing the police that chased him would equally be justified to killing unavoidable false accusations, because from that perspective the law enforcement is withholding justice. And the scariest thing is, in his eyes, Light actually believes that he is the good guy in this whole scenario. Regardless of whether or not you think what he's doing is bad, whatever really is objectively good or bad, if there's such a thing, he does in fact believe that what he's doing is good and is for the sake of humanity. This is shown not just by the conversations he has with Ryu, but more importantly the conversations he has with himself. In his head, when he says that he is the only person that can do this and he has to do it to bring peace to the world. It's actually quite interesting because it's not really that absurd or unheard of. The concept of what would someone do if they were given absolute power? What would they do? What would they be expected to do? If someone was given the absolute power over life and death, shouldn't they have the responsibility to maintain peace in the world? Shouldn't they use that power for the sake of good? In the real world, people don't commit crimes because they know that if they're caught, they'll be punished. But even with law, we still have criminals. Why? Because justice is flawed. You need hard evidence to sentence a criminal. And even then, many innocent people are convicted, and many criminals still walk the street. Kira seems to take the world by the throat. People praise him, others curse him, in some cases people even worship him. But criminals fear him, and with good reason. Society seems to have accepted that there's a greater power at work, trying to clean up the world. Many people approve of his methods, or so it seems. Death Note makes certain observations about society. Ryuk says that his world is dying, and mentions that the human world is much more interesting. But not at one point does Ryuk say that the human world isn't dying. Light constantly says that the world is rotten and it needs to be cleaned up. Light wishes the world better by removing everyone who does not follow his vision of a perfect world, starting with the criminals. But Light begins to fall stray from his path of justice, and innocents begin to get harmed, leading to his eventual downfall. This begins when Light kills Naomi Misora, a detective. Light becomes flustered and agitated. He even considered taking her down by force. His obsession with winning the game rather than creating a just and moral world is made evident as he considers killing many innocent people, even though his entire reason for killing is to rid the world of evil people. People who kill or commit crimes. He's juxtaposed by justice and lawlessness as he murders murderers. But when he starts killing innocent people in order to get his own way, he becomes the criminal himself. At the end of the series, I find myself wondering, am I crazy for wanting Light to succeed? Personally, I don't think Light was wrong. His actions had so much of an effect on the levels of crime in Japan, and I don't think Death Note is trying to make us choose between Light's retributive justice or L's form of justice. Death Note wishes to make us see that justice is merely a device used by the authority to keep everyone in line, and that no matter what justice is supported, no one man should be given all that power. Because it wasn't the games that killed Light, it wasn't L, or even the detectives, as the anime makes you believe. It was his own greed. That's all from me, guys. Please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Screen out.